What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Mike. So, today was back day, my second favorite day in the gym. Some of you guys may know that my favorite day in the gym is actually leg day. It's kind of like the difficulty of leg day, but results wise and everything like that, back day is my favorite. So, it's like leg day is like 1A, back day is like 1B, but they switch. But you see, leg day or back day, my favorite day at the gym, which is very, as like apropos. I think that's what that they tend to use because it's the last long video of the three-part series I was talking to you guys about, and pretty much like who I am and how I got here. So today is about my fitness journey. It's it's a long journey, I can definitely say. Some self doubt, some a lot of struggle. Um, yeah, sit back, relax. I'm not sure how long this one is gonna be, and maybe an hour like the other ones, and maybe a little bit longer, maybe a little bit shorter. We'll see what happens. But my overall fitness journey, when I first realized what was going on, I was about 8, 9 years old. Because I've always, been interested in sports. You know, Basketball is my thing. I enjoy playing basketball. There's actually a picture of me in diapers, with basketball in my hand, trying to dunk a basketball, and like the little Fisher Price basketball. So I've always been into sports. However, when I was in fifth grade, when I was 10, that's when my love for sports changed. I remember going to the pediatrician, and my chest was a little bit overdeveloped. And I went to the pediatrician. They said I had something called gynecomastia. And I was like, I have no clue what this is. And pretty much, for those who know or for those who don't know, gynecomastia is the development of breast tissue in males. You typically see it for someone who's either highly, like, very overweight, or someone who's on performance enhancing drugs. Let's clear it here. I'm not on any performance enhancing drugs. Never have been, never will be. No performance enhancing drugs. Especially I was in fifth grade. I'm obviously not on performance enhancing drugs in fifth grade. So obviously, the boy is a little chunky. I was like 200 pounds chunky in fifth grade. So it was a lot of fat. And one of the things that the doctor told my parents is that because of how it is, because it's glandular breast tissue. So there's usually you usually have glandular breast tissue, or it's just extra fat that kind of like lays there. And again, depending on your genetics and everything like that, it depends on how your chest actually looks. So one of the things that the doctor told my parents is that because it's glandular, there's nothing that I can do to reduce it because it's actually glands. It's not fat. If it was fat, then if I work down things like that, it can be reduced. Because of the age I was, maybe if I was on testosterone, it may have been able to reduce it. That I'm not 100% certain on. But again, it's usually an imbalance of hormones. Estrogen to testosterone, because estrogen actually helps increase fat and things like that. Actually helps build the glandular breast tissue. Again, ladies have more estrogen than guys do. Both males and females have both estrogen and testosterone. It's just the balance, the hormonal balance that causes development in ladies versus guys. For bodybuilders, a lot of guys are on estrogen blockers and they actually have testosterone boosters. Same thing for ladies. A lot of them are on estrogen blockers and some of them are actually on testosterone boosters. I think most of them actually are on testosterone boosters, particularly the ones that actually compete, because again, extra testosterone helps you build muscle. Reduced estrogen helps you, reduce the amount of fat that you have. But again, that's different story. We can talk about stuff like that a little bit later on. But they're like, because of the type of breast tissue it is, it's glandular. The only things that you can do are surgery. And we weren't super well off back then. My parents also had us in private school. They were working extra hard to keep us in private school because they went to private school and they wanted us to have the best education we can possibly have. And I am very, very thankful for the sacrifices that my parents gave for me, my sister, and my brother to go to the schools that we went to. Granted, it's like I went to a private school, a church private school, up until eighth grade, graduated eighth grade, and then went to a public school, public high school. So so I was like, okay, this kind of stinks because there's really nothing I can do about it. So I was like, okay, I'm going to prove them wrong. So I'm gonna start exercising. So I just start exercising and exercise. I just start walking and walking, and trying to join every sports team. And back in the day, I still have it's better controlled now, but I had a very bad attitude. Back in the day, it's like I was very emotional, a very emotional person, but because I was also bigger, then I knew that if I released my frustration on somebody, that could potentially hurt somebody. And I didn't want to hurt anybody. I was always like the nice kid, and I didn't want to hurt anybody, so I used to cry. So I was like almost getting picked on for that. Like, oh, Michael's a crybaby. It's like, no, Michael is just very emotional and doesn't want to hurt people. Because again, I was 200 pounds in fifth grade. You know, so now the 200 pounds that you see now, because I'm not sure what they got what they got these elementary school kids and middle school kids and high school kids. I'm like, some of them are bigger than me, and they have a nicer beard than me. I'm jealous. Not cool. Um, so I was like, okay, this kind of stinks. So I was just like, okay, I'm gonna join every sports team that I can. Also, mind you, I was asthmatic, so I was the quiet kid with gyno that was asthmatic. The only thing I didn't have was glasses and braces, but I had 3 out of the five. I'm like, this is bad. So I was like, man, this is kind of trash. Um, but I want to play sports again. I enjoyed sports, but I also wanted to to try to lose some weight. So I was like, I'm gonna try to play sports and try to play sports. And my mom, she didn't want me to play certain sports. I didn't find this out until I was like in high school. She didn't want me to play certain sports because she said whenever I was running, it looked like I was dying. Because again, I had asthma. It's like, dang, it's like I suck. I can't play sports because I look like I'm dying. But how am I also gonna lose weight? It was like, this is kind of trash. But I enjoyed playing sports. I did what I could. Obviously, I couldn't do everything, but I did what I could. But I was actually on a lot of sports teams. Surprisingly, the only team I didn't get on in elementary school was the basketball team. But I was on the volleyball team. I was on a baseball team. I was on a soccer team. Yes, I was on a soccer team. I wasn't like a forward or anything like that. I was a goaltender. I was a sweeper. So I was like, I didn't have to do a whole lot of running. So I was like, okay, that kind of spared me. But baseball, I had to do quite a bit of running. Nothing too crazy, but I had to do a good amount of running in baseball. Um, and I was playing basketball. Like whenever we had recess, I was always playing basketball. But I kept playing. And then after school, my dad would, depending on how much time that we had, we'd either go play basketball or we'll go to like Best Buy and I'll play video games or something like that. And we always grab a snack afterwards, for better or for worse. Yeah, honey buns were my jam back in the day. Honey buns and the Sobeys, the two little lizards, that Sobey stuff. That was my joint. Sobey was my joint. But kept playing sports, kept playing sports. High school, again, religion wise, I couldn't play certain sports because all the games are on what we call Sabbath hours, Friday night to Saturday. So like, dang, I can't really join any sports teams, but I really enjoyed playing sports. So every morning I would play basketball with some of my friends. I was like, I just kept playing basketball. Oh, what's up? I enjoy playing basketball, and then I wanted to join the weightlifting team, and then I misunderstood what the coach said, and he's like, "Yeah, come work out with us in the morning. You can join a weightlifter team." I was like, "Okay, cool." So I appreciate my dad for this because he would legit drop me off at school like 5 o'clock in the morning, and I would work out with him every day. I was working out with him before school. I was working out with him during school when we actually had our PE class. I was working out with him, but I never joined a weightlifting team. I was like, y'all make me work out with y'all like I'm on the weightlifting team. I had the grade requirements like I was on the weightlifting team, but y'all won't let me join the weightlifting team. What's going on with this? I was like, I don't even know when the tryouts are or nothing like that. I'm like, this is kind of trash, man. Whatever. But things happen. I was about 15, and my brother and I had a mutual friend, Sean, and I'm not sure how they got into this, but they found a kung fu school. So they wanted to to kung fu. So I had no clue what they were doing. I don't know that my brother, he was going away to hang out with Sean. That's all I knew. And then coming to find out that he was going to kung fu, and my dad was like, "Why don't you invite Michael?" And my brother's like, "I'm not gonna invite Michael. It's too hard for him. He wouldn't like it." I was like, "Challenge accepted." Because again, I'm a '90s kid, and I joke around with this, but not really. Power Rangers, Ninja Turtles, and specifically Dragon Ball Z. Those three shows made me want to join martial arts. They made me want to join kung fu. No lie, I, I like Dragon Ball Z is still my favorite show. Like I'm caught up. I watch YouTubers about it. That's my stuff. Dragon Ball Z is my stuff, and it's actually there's like an emotional part about it. It's like just seeing like people like again, no, it's anime, but seeing people like push past their limits and keep pushing, like they hit a wall, they keep pushing, they keep pushing forward. So it's something that was like always super inspiring to me. And I used to legit work out to know, like to watching Dragon Ball Z. I was like, oh yeah, like Goku's in the and I heard about a time chamber. Goku and Gohan, and I heard about a time chamber. I'm gonna start working out. No, I had my bench in my room. I was like doing dumbbell bench press, like my 25-pound dumbbells. I was on it. Your boy was on it. I was doing my thing, trying. But again, I always say Dragon Ball Z is one of the things that got me working out. So he was like, Michael won't like it. It's too hard for him. So like, okay, cool. So I joined him. November 2016 is when I started Kung Fu. One of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. I can honestly say that. Seagung Jeff, thank you for all your time, all your energy, and all your support. Like, I would not be the man I am without your guidance, without your wisdom, without your teachings. There's so much that you've taught me over the 9 years I was training, almost 10 years I was training. I appreciate you so much. So I started Kung Fu, and my brother was about to test for, I think he was testing for orange. And again, so in the style that we're in, it went white, yellow, orange, purple, blue, green, brown, gray, and black. So I was a white belt. He was a yellow belt. He was about to test for orange. And then, he got an invitation. So the training went two different ways. So when we first started off, that you actually got invited to test, and it's like, okay, your test is gonna be like in 2 or 3 weeks or whatever. Have this ready. Come at this time, so on and so forth. Later on, we had surprise tests. That was crazy. That was fun. But my brother got a test invite. Now I was talking to Seagun Jeff. At this time, he was Sifu. So we have the titles are again, these the male titles. Male titles and then teacher titles. Sidai, Sihing, Sifu, Sigung, Sitaigung. Obviously, I'm not pronouncing it properly because I'm not Chinese. I don't speak Cantonese, but these are the Americanized titles of the Chinese vernacular, if you will. I don't remember if it was Cantonese or Mandarin. But talking to Sifu, and I was like, I want to test. I was like, I think I'm ready. He's like, okay, do this thing. And I was like, what? He's like, do this thing. He's like, I told you, you're not ready yet. Don't worry, it'll come. But you're not ready yet. And I got humbled. I was like, yes, Sifu. I got humbled. Big time. So my time did come to test. I tested for my yellow belt. I was like, yeah, I did my thing. And tested. And then I was in Kung. So we had 3 styles in the school. We had Kenpo, Kung Fu, and Tai Chi. You had to be 4 years old minimum to start in Kenpo and Kung Fu. The forms were different. The fist sets, the punches, the kicks, the stances, similar. Tai Chi, you had to be 16 because there's a lot more in depth to Tai Chi than people realize. Tai Chi is a lot more than grannies dancing on a hill, dancing with flowers. Tai Chi is very in depth. There's a lot of energy work. Some people don't believe in it. Believe in it if you want to. Don't believe in it. What I've seen, I believe in it. I believe in Tai Chi. I believe in the energy work. I believe in just the visualization because it's helped me in the gym. It's helped me in Kung Fu. It's actually helped me in work. So it's helped me in so many different ways. It's like I'll be dumb not to think that energy exists. The way that we were training energy. It's like I hope this it's real. Energy is real. I digress. So I was in Tai Chi. I did the Tai Chi forms and the Kenpo forms. I was like pretty much one rank. So I tested for Kenpo and then I tested for Tai Chi. Kenpo, Tai Chi, Kenpo, Tai Chi, Kenpo, Tai Chi. I got up to purple. And again, my parents were paying for school, but financially got a little tough, so I had to withdraw. Whenever I got my job as a CNA, again, watch part two. I got my job as a CNA. The first thing I did was sign back up for Kung Fu. That's the first thing I did because I enjoyed it. It was like, this is so much fun. It's hard. It was very hard, very difficult, but fun. And it taught me that I can push harder than I thought. Um, we used to spar a lot. I enjoyed sparring, and the way I judged if it was a good sparring class, I judged by the lumps on my legs because there are times if you're kicking someone and they bring their leg up, your shins will clash, swelling, all that stuff. So like, if there was no bumps, I was like, oh, this is a trash class. If there was like one lump, I was like, okay, this is an okay class. Two lumps, okay, this is a good class. Three, like I've gone to some 3 lump classes because there was just like so much sparring and kicks and everything like that. There's actually, oh, sorry about that, y'all. There's actually this dude that I forgot when he joined, but he was actually a Chinese kickboxer. So at this point, because again, I kept testing, testing. I'll come back to them, but I kept going. My brother, he stopped training because he got a different job, so I think he just wanted to work. So, okay, cool. I kept training. Purple belt, blue, green. Whenever we got to purple, whenever I got to blue, my teacher changed how we did testing. So we did surprise tests. So they were at this time it was Sifu Jeff, and Singing Paul were the two highest ranks. So either Sifu or Singing would teach a class, and the other would test the students. So you start the class, you're doing your stretching, everything like that, and then either Sifu or Singing would just pull you out. I was like, hey, time for your test. It's like, so you legit had on the spot testing. So you had to know your stuff because again, you didn't have time to prep. He's like, you're testing now. It's like, oh crap. So we tested for blue, green, and brown. Those were surprise tests, if I remember correctly. And for brown, gray, and black, those tests were a little different. Because if you've seen the Karate Kid, the crane stance. There's a crane stance and there's a square horse stance. Square horse stance, think of it as a squat, but your legs are parallel to the ground. Your legs are parallel to the ground. You're not leaning forward or anything like that. You have to be straight up. For brown, you have to hold the square horse stance for 5 minutes, and the sleeping crane a minute and a half per leg. For gray or brown too, you had to hold the square horse stance for 10 minutes, the sleeping crane for 3 minutes per leg. And with the sleeping crane, you're not allowed to put your leg down. If your foot touches the ground, you have to start over. For black, you had to hold the square horse stance for 15 minutes and the sleeping crane 5 minutes per leg. And that's how you start your test. So if you mess up on one of those stances, we'll see you next time. So say that there's pressure. There's pressure, and that was for all three styles, for Kenpo, Kung Fu, and Tai Chi. You had to be able to hold those stances. The good thing about it is that, at least how my teacher did it, is that if you held rank in one, you didn't have to do the stances for the other. So when I tested for Brown and Kenpo, I know I had to have the 5 and the 1.5 per leg. I didn't have to do that for Tai Chi. So that was a huge break for your boy. So that's how we started. And then we also had weapons forms. So we started with in brown 2/gray. That's when we started weapons. So in Kenpo, your first weapon is a bow staff, and then you go after that's for You have your bow staff from brown to gray, and then going from gray to black, you have your katana. For kenpo, you had me for kung fu, you had bow staff, and then you had the the broadsword. A lot of people call it a broadsword, or saber. So that was the weapon for kung fu. For tai chi, we had the fan, and then we had the gem. The gem is like one of my favorite weapons. It's a long, straight sword. Like whenever you're watching like a Chinese movie, and it's like it has like the really long, straight sword. It usually has like the hilt, like the guard. It usually looks like a line or something like that. It looks like a big bulb with like two wings on it. That is what a gem looks like. So if you type in like Chinese gem, you may be able to see it. Um, Whenever I was testing, we had the fan. We had the fan, and then we had no, we had the fan, and then we had the saber, and then the gem was after the saber. Um, and then so that was those are mandatory weapons for brown to gray, and then from gray to black. Then we had seminars, we had other weapons and things like that, and then the requirements going from black to second degree black are you had to have two weapons forms, two open hand forms that you didn't use for testing for any of the other rank for any of the other black. So if you had, so again, if I held rank in Kenpo and Tai Chi, so I couldn't use the Tai Chi forms for my Kenpo stuff, and I couldn't use my Kenpo stuff for my Tai Chi forms. So you had to have two extra weapons forms, two extra open hand forms. Then you actually had to have five fist sets. And a fist set is a prescribed defense against a prescribed attack. So if again, just a variation. So someone punches like this, I can do this move, this move, this move, this move, this move. So it's usually like they're not super long. They can be pretty in depth, pretty interesting, but it's like okay, this is what you can do. And it also just teaches your body how to move in general. So fist sets are very important. They teach you a lot. Um, Fist sets teach you a lot. Stances teach you a lot. Stances that they get your body used to being in certain positions. They also teach you patience. So again, especially particularly for the 15-minute squirrel horse dance, I legit trained like every night. Whenever I was going from gray to black, almost every night after class, I would work on my square horse dance, at least 5 minutes a night. Five, I kept working up again. So I had to hold it for 5 minutes for going from green to brown, then 10 minutes from brown to gray, and then 15 minutes from gray to black. So obviously I knew I can hold it for five. I knew I can hold it for 10 minutes. So I was like, okay, you just gotta keep working. You just gotta keep working. So I kept. I think as long as I held it, it was like 12 minutes before. Like, it was like 12 minutes. Yeah, I didn't try to max out, but I was like 12 minutes, 12 minutes, 12 minutes. In the sleeping crane, that was a tough one because your hips are on fire with that one. Your hip flexors are on fire. It's like 5 minutes is a long time. If you've never held a sleeping crane, try it. No, one leg, you're staying on one leg, and the other leg is 90 degrees bent. Arms are out. The leg that's up cannot touch the ground. It's hard. It's hard. The squirrel horse dance is hard. The squirrel horse dance, yeah, it's like I still don't know which one is worse. I don't know which one I want to try again because they will both they will both test your mental. They'll both test your sanity in the worst way. They were tough. So again, so I did no, I got no rank in both. I got to I got no, got brown, gray. My black belt test for Genpo, that one's I will never forget. I'll never forget my black or my second degree black belt. My first degree black belt was a 2 day test. It started off with the 15-minute squirrel horse dance, and then the 10-minute or 5 minutes per leg sleeping crane. The day before, I was like, I want to run through some stuff. No, just make sure I have everything set. And I'm usually a pretty vascular person. I drink a lot of water. My veins are usually pumping. And then during my black belt test, it was me and at that time, CJ Emma. No, no, yeah, CJ Emma. So we have C May and CJ. C May is like little sister. CJ is like big sister. C Dai is little brother. C Hing's big brother. So I was seeing at this point going for Sifu, and then Emma, she was like, "Seeing Michael, are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, okay. What's up?" And then she was like, "Hey, Sifu, something's wrong with seeing Michael." I was like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" And they looked at my arms. My arms were completely flat. They said I was looking a little gray. And so I finished my stances, and they're like, "Go get a snack and go drink some water now." Okay, cool. So finished. So did my stances, drunk some water, had like a little quick snack. Mind you, my test was, it was a 2 day test. The first day was a 12-hour test, and then the second day was extra 5 hours. I think it was. I think it was like 5 hours. Yeah, it was like 12 hours because we had to teach also. So the thing that was rough is that we started off like 8 o'clock. Started at 8 o'clock. We went all the way until 6. And then 6 we had a class we had to teach from 6 to 7. Then we had a class from 7 to 8 we had to teach. And then after that, we had some stuff to finish up. And then it's like, okay, see you tomorrow. The next day, 8 o'clock, we're at the school. And we had 5 hours or something like that. We still had to come back at night to to get our to teach, to train, to get our ranks and things like that. The second day, so first day, I was like, okay, cool. Second day, again, I was tired. Finished, got home. Was like, okay, I will never forget this. I was eating a sub, and I was watching Dragon Ball Z. Vegeta was fighting Cell. I remember that. Cause I was like, okay, I was laying on the couch. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm done. I'm tired, but this is a good pick me up. No, you can't go wrong with pub sub. So like, okay, let me throw my trash away. Okay, I gotta get up. Let me throw my trash away. I could not get up. I could not move. Your boy was stuck on the couch. I was like, bro, I legit had to roll off the couch and crawl up the couch just to stand up after the 17 hours of training. And I was like, man. So, yeah, 17 hours of training. This was in August. Again, mind you, that Sunday, I was out on a basketball field training for my test. So I was training, no, I was on tennis court. So I was training on a tennis court in August in Florida. Then 17 hours of Kung Fu. Yeah. So to say your boy's a little dehydrated, your boy's a little dehydrated. So I was like, I had to legit crawl to get to stand up. And then we had to go to school afterwards. No, at that night. That night, I usually got there about 5:30ish to kind of like let people in, so on and so forth. So we got in. We got rank. So I got my black belt, got my red jacket, because in our school particularly, everyone, like, different colors mean different things. Like the different colors of the psalms. So some people call them, in Japanese it's called a gi. We call them psalms because it was Chinese. So everyone wore a black jacket, black pants. After you get black, you get a red jacket. You can switch between the red jacket if you want to. You can wear the black jacket if you want to, but you could not have a red jacket unless you got a black belt. And with the others, I'm gonna show you a picture. So think about like like when you're watching like a karate movie, how they have like the white. So think about that, but the pants are black and my jacket was red, and I had a black belt. Whenever with it for Tai Chi and for Kung Fu, they had the ones with the buttons. So think about Bruce Lee movie, how he has the jacket with the long sleeves and the collar right here and the buttons down. So think about that. But the jacket was black and the buttons were red, and that signified you got a black belt in Kung Fu or Tai Chi. So got my rank, got my new belt. I was happy. I was like, yeah. And then the year after that, I got my black belt in Tai Chi. My black sash in Tai Chi, and I got my black jacket for Tai Chi. After you get black in either Kung Fu or Kempo, you start to learn the open hand forms, and then the weapons forms for the other art. So after I got my black and Kempo, I started to learn the kung fu forms, and Sifu Emma vice versa. She majored in kung fu, and she started learning the Kempo forms, just so we can so we can know everything. And you would technically hold rank in both arts. So technically, after I finished the black belt, I got all the way to the black belt forms, the weapons and open hand forms in both arts. So I technically have 3 black belts. Um, yeah, I technically have 3 belts. So yeah. No, your boy did his thing. I trained for just under 10 years, and in that time, my teacher. So while we were learning the black belt forms, my teacher also trained in Greco-Roman wrestling, and he also trained in Wing Chun. And so I was learning some Wing Chun forms. I got the first 3 forms of Wing Chun, and we did some wrestling. And then at this time, also while I was training, I remember I was actually in school, and I was changing because for one of the requirements for the school that I was in for one of the classes that we had to watch a surgery. I was like, I get to watch a surgery for school? Yes, I'm doing this. So I was changing my clothes, changing into the green scrubs for surgery, and then this dude was in the locker room and looked down. I was like, Feiyu? He was like, yeah. I was like, do you train in kung fu? And he was like, I forgot what he trained in Wadlam, which is a martial art. And I was like, that's crazy. And he's like, how'd you know? I was like, because I train in kung fu, and the only people I know who have those specific shoes train in the martial arts. So that's how me and Omar actually became really good friends, because of his shoes. Go figure. So Omar, I see you, dude. I appreciate all your wisdom throughout the years, your support. We've had a lot of early mornings because Omar and I used to wake up and go to the track at 4 o'clock in the morning every Sunday and work out for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. Then I would have to go home, shower, and then go to work. And then the same thing for him. Our Sundays were long, long Sundays. But there's something different about being outside at 4 o'clock in the morning working out. You see different things that it's like you'll see like a fox running, you'll see like rabbits running around. I saw a spider actually retract its web, which was really interesting. I was just like, that's really cool. Yeah, I saw a spider retract its web. And there's so many life lessons I learned while training with Omar. One of the things that was rough is I was going through something. It was something with school, and Omar trained in boxing too. So Omar trained in Walam, Tai Chi, and boxing a little bit. I trained in Kempo, Kung Fu, Tai Chi, Greco-Roman wrestling a little bit, a little Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, a little Sistema, and I was learning some of the Eskrima stick like forms. Like, this is hit 1, strike 1, strike 2. I think we had the 6 basic strikes, I think, of Eskrima. So we had some fun. So Omar was teaching me boxing. We were practicing push hands and things like that. And there is one time I was going through something. Your boy was struggling. No one's like, yeah, we're gonna do some boxing. Okay, cool. So we were boxing, and I was getting nailed. It was like pop, 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 pop. And then Omar was like, what's going on? He said, block. I was like, I'm trying to block. I can't block. He's like, okay, I'm gonna go slower. Omar was punching legit like this, and I was still getting hit. He was like, what is wrong? I was like, this is representative of life for me right now, because I forgot what I was going through. I was having a hard time. I was like, no matter what I do, I just feel like I'm just getting hit constantly, and I can't block no matter what I do. Your boy was struggling. I was like, I just can't block life right now. So that was a big life lesson, a big epiphany that I had while I was training with Omar, is that life will just keep punching you and punching you and punching you. You just have to keep rolling with the punches and block when you can, but don't give up. Because as soon as you give up, you don't have a second chance. But don't give up, because you never know whenever you're gonna make it out and you can win the round. So that's one of the life lessons I learned at 4 a.m. Kung Fu. But back to the school. So practicing, the Wing Chun and everything like that. One of our students at this time, he trained in Chinese kickboxing. So like, okay, cool. So we started to do, again, I was at the highest rank at this time because Sifu Paul left. That was the highest rank at this time. So we started to do full contact sparring. That was painful and fun at the same time, because if you've never done leg conditioning or forearm conditioning, oh my gosh, it will light your eyes up. You know how, like, when you hit the coffee table, you kind of like go breathless for a little bit. Imagine going breathless for like an hour. You're just doing body conditioning. It's like leg strikes and those, like, oh my gosh, but fun. I forgot dude's name. I had some interesting training partners. So I had Omar. No, I had this dude who did that. I trained with another dude who his legs were just solid, but he rode horses. So again, it's like, if you've never felt like seen like a horse rider's legs, they are solid, just solid muscles, because they have to hold on a horse. So their legs are solid. I was like, this dude, like, I don't want to kick this man, because if I kick this man, my leg will break. And I had a pretty solid kick. I was like, this man's legs are something else. I had that. I had this lady. She was an older lady. Her and her husband trained in Tai Chi. It was tiny little lady. She was like old grandma status, but a little bit younger than old grandma. But no, she was a nice, sweet little lady. And just using energy and everything like that, and rooting and grounding and angles, she would legit shoved me around like nothing. I was like, this is crazy. I also got to teach one of the therapists at the hospital. I actually got to teach her and her husband Tai Chi. And she's actually one of the people who actually got me into therapy and thinking about higher education and things like that. So Miss Barb, I appreciate you. I see you. I really appreciate you. And Mr. Mike, it was always fun working with you, sir. It was always fun. So some of my other training partners, this dude named Matt, he was a couple ranks younger than me, but he was just a natural. Like, we would do like board breaking and practice splits and butterfly kicks and all sorts of things. It was a fun time when I was training. I had so much fun. It was a lot. So training, and I was getting ready for my second degree black belt. I was getting ready for second, and we had a seminar coming up, and we had I can see his face right now. It's gonna start bugging me. It'll come in at a random time. But we had one of the Seagungs from Wisconsin come down. He and his wife. She was a seafood level, and then we're working on like a reorganization of the organization that we were under. So, the Seagung that was coming down, he was going for 6th degree. His wife was going for 4th, and my Sifu was going for 4th. So at 4th, you're considered Seagung. At, I forgot what rank it is, maybe 7th, you're considered Si Taigung. I don't remember which rank is considered Si Taigung. And pretty much how what the words mean are, again, Si Dai means little brother, Si Hing means big brother, Sifu means teacher or mentor. Si Gong is like the teacher's teacher. Si Tai Gong is like the teacher's teacher's teacher. So it's like up there. Like familial wise, because a lot of people there's like familial connotations to it also. Again, you have little brother is Si Dai, so little brother, little student is Si Gong is Si Dai. Si Hing is big brother or older student. Sifu is father or mentor. Si Gong is like grandfather. Si Tai Gong is like great grandfather. If that kind of like helps, make more sense. So, Si Gong was coming down with his wife, and they were like working on like reorganization and things like that, and trying to have a more orderly progression in case if people left one organization trying to come with us, so on and so forth. So they were coming down. I remember it was raining. I don't remember what day it was, but it was raining. So I was coming to the school. I was like, "Hey, Sifu, hey, Sigong, like, hey, Michael, like, hey, Sifu, Michael, how you doing?" I'm like, I'm good. Like, hey, like, how do you feel? I'm like, I feel good. Why? They're like, put your gear on, go outside. I was like, what's going on? They're like, your second degree black belt test starts now. I was like, what? They're like, yeah, put your shoes on, put your belt on, go outside. I was like, okay. And it was raining. Not hard rain, but it was raining enough that you can slip and bust your butt. Which actually, no, it's like, that's why you ground. So I remember it was raining outside. Going through my forms and everything like that, going through my fist sets and everything, like my self defense and my punches and kicks and everything like that. Got a lot of good feedback. Went inside. We actually finished a seminar because we were doing a seminar. So my test was literally in the middle of a seminar. So we went back inside, finished the seminar, and then I actually got promoted to second degree black belt that day. I was like, this is insane. And then to go from first to second, again, it's two open hand forms, two weapons forms. Like I forgot how many fists. I think like 5 fist sets. I actually still have my old kung fu notebook. That notebook is older than some of my cousins because I had it for a minute. Actually, it has to have my requirements in there too. And then we had to help. I think 2 people get to either black or junior black, and again 2 years. To go to second to third, you needed 3 years, 3 open hand forms, 3 weapons forms. I think I had to help like 3 people get to black or junior black. And then I forgot how many fist sets there were. So I was working my way up and everything like that. And then those were also around my 10-year anniversary. That November was my 10-year anniversary. That was also 2016. And again, if you watch part 2, I went off to St. Augustine in 2016. So I was like, hey, I know that I'm supposed to be testing in a couple of months, but I am moving away. I'm not sure when how long I'm going to be away with school and everything like that. So we're just trying to plan things out. And then again, I came back in November, so I was like, okay, it's like I'm not. I can try to come back to the school. I went to visit and things like that, but I wanted to start training again, but I was in a mental place to start training. So trying to get back into groove of everything like that. Then my teacher moved to Tennessee. So I was like, well, there goes that. But I still kept practicing a little bit. I still kept, working on my punches, my kicks, my splits. I worked on them for a while. I was working on my combinations because the gym that I used to go to had a heavy bag. So I worked on my combinations, my weak kicks and things like that, all sorts of things. I just kept working. I enjoyed it so much. And at that point, it was just under the 10-year mark of Kung Fu. So at that point, from 16 to 26, I was doing Kung Fu. I ran like a couple 5Ks, and the funny thing is, again, at work, they're like, hey, like, we want to do a color run, this and this. I'm like, I'm not a runner. I'm not a runner. Just do it. It'll be a fun one. I'm like, I'm asthmatic. I don't run. Like, do it with it. So like, okay, fine. So I told one of the dietitians, like, hey, I want to do a 5K with them. She's like, oh, that's nice. You're going to do a marathon one day. I'm like, I'm asthmatic. I am not doing no marathon. Heck no. Foreshadowing. I'm like, I am not doing no marathon. You got to be outside your mind. So, did the 5K. It was a color run. I still got pictures from the color run. It was fun. So, did a color run. I did like another 5K. I think I did like 3 5Ks. Then my mom did a 5K with me. I was like, yeah, I'm proud of you, Mom. Da, 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 da. Remember, right after that, I was like, that's fun. Again, I'm still an athlete. I'm like, what's my next challenge? So like, oh, they have a 10-miler. Like UCF was hosting their first 10-miler. So like, I'll go ahead and try that. So, I had to stop Kung Fu, and I started running on occasion. Did 10-miler. I did a 10-miler. I was like, that was fun. Right after the 10-miler, I was like, what's next? So I was like, looking for different races. I was like, what's the Savage race? Okay, so I looked into it. I was like, obstacles. Like, what's this? But it was like a 7-mile race, and it was like a 7-mile race with like 25 obstacles in the race. I was like, I want to try this. This sounds fun. I just like to try things. I like to push myself. So I was like, okay. So I signed up for the Savage race, and it was just me. It was legit just me that signed up for the Savage race. So I'm like, okay, cool. It was in this place called Dade City. Yeah, Dade City. Yeah, Dade City. So it was my mom, my sister, and my ex. They came with me to the race, and I was like, this place stinks, bruh. It was legit just an open pasture. And they're like, watch out for water. There may be alligators because in this Florida, if there's water, there's an alligator. So like, watch out for this, watch out for this. So during the race, and I was like, okay, I was just by myself. I saw this group of dudes. Yes, they had me like, hey, whatever, what's up, what's up? And they're like, hey, you running by yourself? I'm like, yeah, I'm running by myself. They're like, want to run with us? I'm like, sure. So legit, I went from just being a solo runner to running with these other 5 dudes. I think they're all military. I don't remember their names, but they're actually, I have a picture of me with them on my Facebook still. I don't know where y'all are, what y'all doing now, but thank you for picking me up. Thank you for picking up this asthmatic that had no clue what he was doing and running with me. I appreciate y'all. I don't know, I don't remember y'all names. I don't know what y'all doing right now, but just the support y'all showed me, I appreciate it. So did that while we are running. I was like, this stinks. They said, they said it was mud. I think we were running in cow poop because it was just a pasture, and I'm like, I know what mud smell like. That don't smell like mud. So the first obstacle. This gives you any idea about how crazy this place was. The first obstacle was called Shriveled Richard. It was literally like a 20-foot ice bath, like a 15, 20-foot ice bath that you jumped in, and then it had a wall that actually went under the water. You had to go under the wall, pop up, and jump out on the other side. I have pictures. It looks like I'm playing a piano. I was just like, because your boy don't like cold. Again, that's what I'm still down here for. Your boy don't like cold. So this week's been a little rough for your boy. Um, so we did that again. I don't swim either. It was the whole thing, but no, your boy did what he could. My first Savage race. It was fun. I was like, that was fun. That was fun. That was fun. What's next? So I was like, okay. I did the second. UCF 10 miler, and then I also think that's when I did my first half marathon. So I was just training. I think I did another 5K, somewhere between there. But training. Again, I was still lifting too. All the time, I was still lifting weights. I remember I started lifting weights when I was in our apartment. So I was probably like 10 years old when I first picked up my first dumbbell. So I was still lifting weights, periodically, but just, more kung fu at certain times, more weightlifting at certain times. Then in high school, it was more basketball and weightlifting. So but I was still lifting weights. Did my first half. I did, my second UCF 10 miler. I did another half marathon. I did another UCF 10 milers. I did three UCF 10 milers. And then again, I got UC and I got F. So I posted a picture. I was like, I finally got an F from UCF. I've never been so happy to get an F in my life. Which is funny if you saw the previous parts about how much I struggled with school. So I'm like, I got an F from UCF. I was so happy to get my F from UCF. But I was like, man, it was more than just getting an F. So, okay, I was like, I'm done running. So he just kept lifting. I was having fun lifting. I just enjoyed lifting. And then, I remember I was in the gym one day. This was 2017? 2018, something around there. I was lifting and I saw this dude deadlifting. I was like, I'm going to try that. So, I tried deadlifting. I was like, okay, this is interesting. But again, I had no clue what I was doing. And one of the dudes, he was like, okay, he's like, no, get your butt down. He's like, work on this. And he was like, you're pausing. He said, just stand up. I will never forget Steve. Yeah, his name was Steve. He was not a personal trainer. He was a strength and conditioning coach. He actually trained Olympians. So Steve, I still got Steve. I got Steve on my IG and my Facebook. So Steve, thank you for your deadlift tips. Again, it was insane. So he's like, just stand up. So I was like, okay, this is interesting. At that point, my first time actually trying to max out my deadlift, I had like a 350, something on there. So nothing like nothing like insanely heavy, but it was a good deadlift, I would say. From first time deadlifting, because again, I just worked out. So he's like, yeah, why don't you keep working on that? Because he's like, keep working on it. I'm like, okay, cool. So kept working on it, kept talking to people about deadlifting. And then I was looking at something, and I saw there's something called the Smolov protocol. Okay, and it's usually a squat progression program that is 13 weeks long. They can guarantee that your squat will go up 100 pounds. in 13 weeks. It said your squat will go up about 100 pounds in this time frame. However, don't start this program until you have like a certain amount of experience in this and that, like some disclaimer. So yeah, I'll try it. But I modified it for my deadlifting. So instead of doing a squat protocol, I did a deadlift protocol with a small off program. They had small off junior. I just went straight for the regular small off. I'm like, I'll try this. I did 2 sets of the small. I did 1 regular set, and then I took a little break. And then this is when I started working out with my boy Steve. And Steve, I was jealous of Steve because Steve was taller than me, and not working out as much as I did. But once he started working out with me, he just put on muscle like crazy. I'm like, man had I used to call him like Baby Dwight. Remember when Dwight Howard was in his prime and his shoulders looked like you're like 5 giant basketballs on his shoulder? Those were Steve. And as y'all know, my shoulders are tiny. I'm like, Steve, I don't like you, sir. But he did the other thing with me too. Between the 2 sets, like the 2 cycles, my deadlift went from like 350 to 463 in less than a year. And for me, that was impressive. And my deadlift was probably higher than that, but I tried to make too big of a jump when I was doing my last sets of my last max out sets. I was trying to go way too heavy. I was like, I'm 37 pounds away from 500. 37 pounds, that's not a lot. And it's like when I did the 463, I was like, that felt doable. So I forgot what I jumped to, but I know I jumped too far because that bar was not moving. So my last official deadlift max was 463, and I was like 182 pounds at the time. Like around, I was between. My weight was fluctuating a little bit, so I was between 179 and 185, but I was typically hanging around that 182, 183 weight range. So 463 at 182, that's not too bad. And I was pretty happy about that. Kind of mad that I didn't get to 500, but I wasn't too mad about that. So started deadlifting. That was fun. I really enjoyed deadlifting. While doing the second deadlift protocol, this was like the third to last semester of PTA school. Talking to some of the students, they're like, "Yeah, we want to do something as a group." I'm like, "Yeah, let's see what we can do." And they were like, "Let's do a Spartan run." So I was like, "I've never done Spartan, but let's try it." So while I was working on my deadlift, I was also training for a Spartan run. So we're like, okay, let's try it. So the vast majority of my class, I think my class was, how many people were in my class? 30? Something on there, like 25. No, it was 29. There's 29 of us. One person dropped out. So it was like 20, like between 27 and 29. I don't remember the exact number, but something around there. I would say 3/4 of us ran the Spartan run together. It was so cool. And I forgot we were called the Glow Getters or something like that. I still have my shirt in my drawer. I still have it. It's like a light green, like it was a regular shirt that you cut into a tank top. The light green shirt. I still got it in my drawer. I'm gonna have to pull it out one day and like, hey, look what I found. I still got my Spartan run shirt, my Savage Race shirt. No, yeah, Spartan in my drawer too. I still wear it to the gym. So did this Spartan run, and the thing is, they actually had to close the course for a while because it was raining. So we had to wait until so things can kind of dry out a little bit, so it'll be safe enough to run. But the Spartan was a little bit different than Savage Race. Both were fun. Both had a lot of good obstacles. Both smell like poop. But fun times, fun times. So did the Spartan run. I was like, okay, after that, I was like, I'm done running. I had my fun. I've done so many different things. I'm good on that. Did deadlifting. I was like, okay, cool. Just kept lifting. And then some therapists, some respiratory therapists, and some other people at the hospital, I'm talking about Disney weekend. And I used to volunteer at the Disney races because you used to get free tickets at Disney. I'm like, hey, free is for me. And Disney's expensive. So if I can volunteer, meet cool people, and get free Disney tickets, why not? Granted, I had to wake up super early because they closed down highways. So we had to be at Disney like 3 o'clock in the morning, knowing you're volunteering. Early mornings, but still, fun times. So yeah, it's like, so they're like, yeah, we're going to do the Disney weekend, the Disney race weekend. It was the Goofy challenge that they wanted to do, which is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's a 5K, 10K, half marathon, and a marathon. I'm like, no one is called goofy because y'all insane. Ain't no way. No, I ain't doing this. I ain't doing this. And then this dude named Chris, he was a good dude, respiratory therapist. He just had gastric bypass not too long ago, and one of his things that he wanted to do is, and he was a big dude. He was four. I think he was like four something, like in the mid fours, big dude. And he was like, I want to do this. I want to do this. He's like, no. I told him, I was like, hey, if you do this, I'll run a marathon with you. He's like, really? I was like, let's shake on it. I'll run the marathon with you. I was like, I can't guarantee I can do the goofy because that's expensive, but I'll do the marathon with you. So we signed up for the same time. He's like, you bet. So we signed up for the Disney Marathon. And I was like, yeah, this is gonna be crazy. I'm not sure how I'm gonna do this. And this was in 2019 whenever we were talking about it. I forgot when I started training for it. I think I started training for it in September, somewhere around September. So like, okay, I'll do the marathon with you. So my training program, again, all wrong because again, I'm not a runner, but I just progressive overload. That's pretty much what I did. Progressive overload. There's a path in my like near where my parents live that I used to that I went. There's a couple different paths, but the path that I went, one lap was 4.25 miles. So okay, cool. This is gonna be my training route. So every Thursday, because again I worked. My schedule was Monday, Tuesday. I was off Wednesday, Thursday. I worked Friday, Saturday. And I worked Sunday at my other job. So like every Thursday, I would get up at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I would do the lap. So the first month I just did one lap. So 4.25 miles, just one lap. Again, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Claremont, but it's known for its races, its triathlons, because of the hills. There are a lot of hills. So like, if I can train on hills, it'll make flats easier. So, for like first 4 weeks, just did one lap. Second 4 weeks, 2 laps. Yeah, I had a water bottle outside, so I did a lap, grabbed some water, did another lap. So 8 miles, 8.5 miles. Then I increased it to 3 laps for like another 4 or 5 weeks. Lap, quick water break, lap, quick water break, lap, quick water break. 12 miles, half marathon. I added a 4th lap. Lap, water, same thing. Then I added a 5th lap. I think I stopped at 5 laps, but I did like 5 laps for like 5 weeks. When you say your boy was exhausted, because I'm running up hills. I think I was legit training for like 6 hours plus, just the hills and I was exhausted. And the route that I went was actually in front of the college, and depending on how you looked and when you looked, you can see me from the hospital. So thankfully, in case your boy passed out, but you can actually see me from the hospital. You can see me like running. I was just running just laps. It was so tiring. Oh my gosh. But I think I stopped at the 5 laps, so it'll be like 22 miles or something like that. So again, I don't have to add 4 miles. So okay, cool. One thing that I heard that you never want to is that I think they said that you didn't want to like try the whole thing out before you did it. I was like, okay, sure. So I was like, okay. So I did that. January 2020, I did the Disney Marathon. We passed one point. I think we were at like the 21 mile, 22 mile mark. And then we got word that they closed part of the track down in the back because of a heat warning. So it was so hot, people were having heat. I'm not sure if anybody had a heat stroke, It was like heat exhaustion and cramping and everything like that. That it was that bad. So it was Chris and I. We were running. So Chris and I were running together, and then Dr. Peralta was there. Diane. I'm not sure if Diane's husband was there, and I think was Dr. B there. I'm not sure if Dr. B was there, but it was like five of us. So most of them did the goofy. I'm like, I ain't got no money like that. I'm not a runner. I'm just gonna do the marathon. So Chris and I, no, we stuck together, and I legit had. This is the funny thing. I was like, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it right. I was looking up costumes. Your boy was looking up costumes, and I finally settled on one. I dressed as Maui from Moana for the Disney Marathon. Full bodysuit, grass skirt, hook, and a wig. In Florida heat, when it was so hot, they had to cut the race short because of heat exhaustion. And I wore a wig for that full race. And I had a bag on my arm for like my gels and stuff like that and my gummies. I had a bag on my arm, a hook in one hand, and a wig. And I ran the Disney Marathon with Chris. And we were pointing to we were pushing it, we're like, hey, no, we can take a break, but we can't stop. We can take a break, but we can't stop. We gotta keep going. We gotta keep going, man. So we did the Disney Marathon. No, the thing that's crazy is that getting because Chris lost so much weight that the news was actually doing a story on him, like his whole thing, and because I was running with him, I was actually in the news. So there's like co-pictures of me. There's one like me yelling like, ah! It was dope with my wig and everything like that. There's another picture that someone so that Chris was doing a power shot. And I was kind of looking to the side. It was like there's a pretty cool picture. I have to post them. But there's some pretty cool pictures. I'm like, yo, this is pretty cool. It's pretty dope. So Chris was like, hey, I couldn't do this without you. I was like, hey, I wouldn't have done this without you. so no, we did that. And then Chris, he's like, he wanted to do a triathlon. But he also wanted to have skin removal surgery. Because again, man lost like 230 pounds plus. He lost a lot of weight. So he wanted to have skin removal surgery. I don't know if he had the skin removal surgery yet. I don't think so. Because it's expensive stuff. And he was like trying to raise money and stuff like that. But I don't know if he ever had the skin removal surgery. So I always kind of joke around like, yeah, me running started the panorama as it used to say. So did that. Again, after I stopped that, I kept lifting, and then in 2021. I moved out of my parents' house. I moved a little bit late because I was trying to pay off bills and things like that, trying to pay off debt. So I moved later than I wanted to, but I needed to move. So I moved, to a new city, not too far, about an hour from my parents, so not nothing too crazy far. Moved to a new city. I was like, okay, I need to find a gym, and they had a gym at my apartment, but it was like the way I live, what they got, this ain't gonna work for me. So I had to find a new gym. Found LA Fitness / Esporter. Again, they changed the name. Okay, cool. So went there. Okay, this is a pretty cool place. I like this. And just kept doing my normal stuff. I was like, okay. Kept lifting. And I enjoy lifting. Trying out different machines, trying out different things. I didn't do all my old exercises because I didn't have all my old machines. But like, no, try some different things out. New place, try some new environment. Let's try some new things. So we had some different things. And then I don't remember when or how, but I was like, they have a sled. I want to try that. So I started doing sled pushes. And when I tell you, your boy had fun and still has fun doing sled pushes. That's probably one of my favorite exercises now, just doing sled pushes. Because it's one of those things that's like, you have to grunt out. Like, I work out with a lot of aggression and rage and emotion. And you just have to kind of grunt out your frustration. Like, if you're maxing out like on a deadlift or a bench press, you just have to kind of grunt and let it out. That's why I do sled pushes. Like if I'm maxing out on a sled push, I find like one of those songs that really gets me pumped up or like really emotional, just like angry. I turn it up and it just goes like the whole grunt everything. Like, I don't care if I'm loud. People can't do what I do. So it's like, you either match me, beat me, or be quiet. straight up. Not to my own horn because I know there are a lot of people in the gym that are way stronger than me, but I'm proud of the numbers I can put up. So started doing sled pushes. I just started just trying things out. I think at first time I recorded myself I was like 400 pounds. So, okay, yeah, this is cool. And kept sled pushing on occasion. Kept sled pushing, and just kept maxing out. And I had some old busted shoes, and I actually had to stop sled pushing because my shoes were so old that there's no traction on the bottom. They were slick, like soap on linoleum slick. That actually slipped. I didn't think I did roll my ankle, but I slipped. I did hurt my ankle a little bit, but I was like, okay, I gotta stop this. So rested my ankle for a while, and I started sled pushing. Just started watching how I pushed. A lot more foot drive, toe drive, things like that. Like, just kept maxing out to the point that those videos super long. So I kept doing that, and then I was like, I didn't get some more cardio in, so I kept working on my cardio. I didn't jump up as much, so I jumped up every now and then. My flexibility, again, I didn't really practice my splits since Kung Fu, so every now and then I practice my flexibility, my splits. But my cardio is I was doing 12. It was like when I was training in PTA school, I would do like 3.0 speed, 12 incline. Now I'm at 15 incline, 3.9 speed on average. So I'm putting in some resistance. And I usually go, depending on how much time I got, between 15 and 30 minutes, depending on how much time I got. But back to the sled pushes. So kept pushing. Then sometime last year, I was like, I want to see how high I can get. Long story short, I maxed out at 705 on the sled. It's a good distance track. I've never measured it, but it's probably a good 30 feet, maybe a little bit more than that. So it's a good path. So 700 pounds one way. Yeah, 705 one way, and I tried to go to 720. And I couldn't do it. I was like, no, I got halfway with 720. So I was like, okay, I know where my max is. My max is 705 because if I didn't finish it, I can start on max. So I got halfway with 720, but I'm still proud of those numbers. They have a plate loaded. That pull down, I'm doing like I work at 180 pounds on each side. The most I did actually today I went to 205 on each side. I did a set of 8 and then a set of 6. And I could have done a couple more, but they were going to be very, very sloppy reps. So I was like, okay, 6 is my max. So, but I felt good. So I still enjoy lifting. I still miss Kung Fu. I thought I would joining another school again. Am I? Not sure. But I thought about it. Do I miss running? Nope. I'm good on running. Like, would I do another race? Yeah, I would do another race because the atmosphere is fun and it's infectious. So I would do another race. If someone's like, yeah, I want to do a race. So if someone wanted me to do a race with them, I would do another race. But do I need to do one for myself? Nah, I'm straight on that. Because, again, just like I said in some of the other videos, I've done a lot in my fitness career. I have 3 black belts, second degree in one art. I've ran 5Ks, half marathons, savage races, Spartan races. I ran a marathon. My max deadlift was 463 pounds. I'm doing lap pull downs with 200 pounds. I'm a 15 incline, 3.9 speed, almost 4 speed for 30 minutes on a treadmill. That's a lot. So while I know there are people who've done a lot more than me fitness wise, saying where I came from, of that shy asthmatic kid with gyno that couldn't run because his mom thought he was gonna die, to running a marathon and sled pushing 700 pounds, I've done pretty well for myself in my fitness career. Are there other things I want to try? Yeah, because I actually used to want to I still have slight aspirations of wanting to step on stage as a as a bodybuilder one day. Not not professional bodybuilder, but natural amateur show one day. I think that would be really really cool. However, I'm not sure if I did mention this in my school video, or at least one of my debt payoff videos, that when I was working as a PTA, my mom met a plastic surgeon, and they're like, "Hey, wait, I met someone who can actually do your gyno surgery." So I was like, "Really?" It was like $6,000. It was like all cosmetic, and again, cosmetic insurance wouldn't pay for it because it didn't have an emotional tie, according to them. But they don't know I've been battling with this thing for over 20 years. But I had a decision. I was like, I can either keep on my debt payoff journey, or I can have the surgery that I've wanted for over 20 years. So I had the gyno surgery. However, because I had the gyno for so long and I didn't have the skin removal surgery, my chest still sags quite a bit. Do I have the glands in my chest? No. Do I still have some fat in my chest because of fat distribution and genetics and things like that? Yes, I do. So, will I step on stage? I have a lot of work to do to step on stage, and I admit that because, again, I like to work out. I like to work out. I like to eat cake too. What can I say? And I don't eat cake all the time. And that's just an analogy. But will I like to step on stage one day? Yeah, I think it'd be pretty cool. Will I? I have no clue. But would that be? It is still like a aspiration of mine to step on stage one day, at least once. I think that would be pretty cool. But yeah, but that's pretty much my fitness journey. I know it's a super long video, but that's your boy's fitness journey from asthmatic to marathon runner with a 700 pound bench press and 3 black belts. So yeah, just want to give you guys a little finish up part 3, and then I don't think there's actually any more parts, but yeah, that's it. Thanks for taking the journey with me. Later.